Hi guys, it's Belle here and it is day 4 on the 5th of Ephemera Ember. And as always, this is hosted by the wonderful Louisa Heinzel and Barbara at 49 Dragonflies. Links to their channels will be down below. Before we get on to the prompt, I want to do day 5 on this teeny tiny advent calendar, which is just here in the gingerbread house. And let's see what it is today. Oh my goodness. It is a pretzel. I don't even know if it's a chocolate pretzel, but it is a little pretzel. Seems perfect considering it's a chocolatier. So today's prompt is snippet roll and woven flowers. Now, I was debating what aspect I want to make because a snippet roll could take a while, woven flowers could take a while. I decided I wanted to focus on the snippet roll, and I'm going to use some flowers, I'll show you, that I have in my stash that are kind of woven fabric. So, I mean, weaving's quite fun to do with paper and things, but I thought I'll use these up and we will focus more on the snippet roll. So I saw in one of Barbara's videos a little while ago that she made a snippet roll with some tea bags. Now, if you've been on my channel a while, you'll know I love using my tea bags in projects. But I thought, let's see if we can do it with some vintage sewing paper. So I have some of this. This is my favourite colour, this kind of brownish colour. And I'm just trying to fold it so that it's kind of straight. And we're going to double it over as well because I want it quite thick, because obviously vintage sewing paper is quite thin. So I want to double that over like so. And the fun thing about this for a snippet roll is that it will give you, there's a reason I'm doing this too. I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to fold it several times actually because I want to trim it, and I'm going to try and trim it using my mini paper trimmer. So if it's folded over a few times like this isn't how we're going to keep the snippet roll, but it means I can kind of cut. I can trim it without losing that layer. Right, okay, let's move that to one side. So now let me open this up. We have our snippet roll. It may be not completely straight, but I don't mind because, again, we can just fold it a little bit. Love working with vintage sewing paper. And with a snippet roll, because you've got writing and things on here, because of that, you're getting like extra detail. I've never made a snippet roll like this before. Again, if you've been on my channel a while, you will know I love snippet rolls, but it's normally fabric. I use them a lot. It's one of the ways I use up all of my scraps that I have left over from projects. I'm trying to find, here we go. I'm going to bring in some Mod Podge because I'm going to glue this with the Mod Podge. Obviously you could glue it with just glue. I am going to be stitching mine too. I'm just going to say that ahead of time. I love stitching, so I'm going to be stitching on mine, and I wanted several layers because it will make it easier to stitch through as well. So yeah, I had to decide, do I want to weave some flowers or do I want to focus on making a snippet roll? And I decided snippet roll. So, and again, I'm trying to use up things in my stash. It's one of my main goals for next year, and I'm making a start on that by just thinking, oh, what have I got that would work for that? And I am always encouraging you guys to look at your stash with fresh eyes. You know what they say, you know, go shop your stash. Look at your stash with fresh eyes and think, well, what can I use? And if you're not going to use it, guys, why is it there? That's the way I'm looking at it. I mean, it's fine if you've got a lot of space, but I have very, very limited space for my crafting. I know there's some new subscribers, so hello and thank you for subscribing. But for those of you who are new and don't know, my crafting space is very, very tiny because it's actually in my living room. So half my living room is taken up with my craft table and my craft storage. I mean, my kids are older, so only one of them still lives at home and he's at university for some of that. And the other two don't. Obviously, they visit and things. But I turned my living room into my craft space. Which normally means at Christmas time it actually gets quite difficult because a lot of my craft space has to be closed down so that we can fit everyone in with everything. So we have that, and I'm not even going to let it dry too much. We're going to start building it straight away. I love it already. I just love it. I'm trying to work out what side. Do you know what? I think this side is where I've put the joins. So that's the side actually that I'm going to make into my snippet. It will also help secure those joins. So this is where I could use a different kind of glue. I've just pulled out a whole scrap of little papers and things that I thought might work. And I also have some fabric. And we are just going to start building up. This is some handmade paper that my lovely friend Sarah made and sent to me. We're going to also put some vintage music paper on here. And just like you would with fabric, we are going to start just building up layers on here. And again, great way to use up your scraps, guys. I actually do have one of my tea bags and I am thinking of putting some of that on top as well. I have to decide if I'm going to Mod Podge all over the top before I stitch. That's what I have to decide. And we're just going to work. I mean, snippet rolls are snippet rolls, aren't they? I mean, if you've seen them, you kind of know. But as I said, this is a new one for me to kind of use. Got some numbers here too. This is from a vintage book. Where is my... Here it is. Sorry, I'm just grabbing my glue book because I don't like gluing on my table because it gets everything gluey. But yes, we have some new subscribers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you subscribing. I hope you enjoy what I'm making. It's a bit chaotic and strange here at Bellaboo Creations, and chatty. I like to chat. And cats. And speaking of cats, oh my goodness, my Binks, who again, if you're new, she's one of my little rescue cats. Her and her sister I adopted a couple of years ago. Well, we've been trying to put the Christmas tree up, guys. It's very depressing. Because we can't have a real tree because they're poisonous to cats. And Binks in particular loves to chew stuff. So we can't have a real tree. But she is chewing the plastic tree. So we have had to put the tree down for the moment. And work out a way that we can teach her, no, don't do that because that's poisonous to you. You could get seriously hurt. Whilst also being able to have my tree up because I love my Christmas tree. It's my favourite thing. And yeah, Binks has decided that it's tastier than her food. So last year she was climbing in the tree. Now climbing I could put up with. In fact, in my December daily last year, there was lots of cute little pictures of her climbing in the Christmas tree. That's fine. I can put up with that. I just don't put my favourite ornaments on it, you know, my glass ones. It's fine. But this year she's decided maybe that she's too big now to climb in it because she's older than she was. So this year she's decided, climbing? No, that's for younger me. Now I'm going to eat it. I mean, honestly, I adore her, but also she is a challenge. I've got these little scraps. I'm just going to use all these scraps. You can see I'm just putting them wherever. I've got some corrugated card scrap here too. I thought that would be quite fun on here. And all of this is going to strengthen the vintage sewing paper. Let's put some of this on here. So yeah, so I don't know what to do, guys. You know, I know there's all those things out there that you're supposed to be able to use for cats to teach them not to do things, but they're actually not great to use with cats. Like, you're not supposed to shout at them or get any of those kind of things or spray them with water, and all that can be quite traumatizing for a cat because they get confused as to why the person they love is suddenly doing that. So cats work better with positive reinforcement. And so every time she climbs in the tree, I'm trying to distract her with something else, or I'm just trying to gently get up and move her, but it's exhausting to do that constantly. And obviously there's always the fact that when I'm not here, she's just going to climb in the tree anyway. So, yeah, any help would be appreciated. But like I said, we only do positive reinforcement in this house. We don't do the other things, especially for rescue cats and that, because you never know what they've been through in their other life. So, it's just all positive reinforcement in this house. And we shall see. Otherwise, we're only going to be able to bring the tree down actually nearer the time, which will make me very sad. Because like I said, it's like the highlight of my Christmas decorations, putting up my tree and all that. You can see I'm literally not even thinking about it. I'm just adding these to the snippet roll. We've got a whole gap here where I haven't put anything. So that's going to have to be filled. But I do have, as I said, some fabric as well. And the fabric will be going on. Oh, I have some vellum. I've just seen it. That will go on too. And I'm just using up my scraps and trying to work out if I want a Mod Podge over the top of it. I don't think it needs to be Mod Podged over the top. I think actually it's going to be okay. So we're going to have all these layers of paper. So I also have, this is the inside of an envelope, and I'd inked it previously. I think I'd mopped up some ink with it from another project. So I really like the black crisscross and obviously the ink. So we're going to use that too. I've literally just been in my scrap box and gone, oh, that looks fun. Let's add some of that. So yeah, I will have to try the tea bag version that I saw Barbara at 49 Dragonflies do, because as I said, I use my tea bags a lot. So any new ways that I can find to use them up is always fun. But I did think, well, let's see this. This is a similar texture to tea bags, so it should work in the same way. We shall see. But let me know down below if you have any stories of your fairy companions, your little cute fur babies, and them having some weird fascination with a Christmas thing. Because I'd love to hear them. I'd love to know that it's not just me with the strange little cat. I don't get it. I mean, I know she loves metal, so I have to be super careful. Got this fun vellum. It might be, yeah, it is. It's part of a Tim Holtz one. I know she loves metal, so I have to be careful with anything I'm crafting with, because she runs off with my metal dies and things. So I know that already. And paper. She likes to chew paper as well. Honestly, this was not the cat to come into a crafter's home. So I'm super careful making sure everything's always kind of put away, and if I've used like metal rules or paper clips or eyelets, I always make sure to check the floor that nothing has some of that vellum's coming up. Normally I use a different kind of glue, but I'm just going to really press that down. Yeah, I normally use something else. So I normally tidy up and make sure nothing's left that she can get to. But what can you do about a Christmas tree, guys? I mean, it was bad enough last year that I have lots of garlands with fake berries and things, and she was running off with the berries. I'm not kidding you when I'm saying right up until just a month ago, I was still finding those berries in places. So I made sure that none of the garlands that went up this year had any berries on them. In all honesty, most of them had been chewed off anyway, so realistically, I just attached like bells and things instead. But do we want any? Oh, I've got some of this map that I used in yesterday's. No, it wasn't. It's the day before, and it's this beautiful thing here too. And I was looking at using both. I just love how this rips. Really is like book spine. Look at that. I mean, it's delicious is the only word that I can think of. Yeah, so I replaced all of those. And now she's driving me crazy by thinking, well, you've got rid of all my berries, so now I'm just going to chew your tree. And I'm thinking I deliberately didn't get a real tree because they're poisonous to cats. And I knew that with her and her interest in certain things, I knew that she would try and eat it or get the little spikes on the tree in her paw, or I don't know, drink the water, which can be poisonous to them. Never have I had this problem. I've had cats my whole life. I've had a lot of cats. All of them have been rescues, or almost all of them have been rescues in one way or another, and I have never in my life had this problem. We've had real trees before, and the most that we've ever had to worry about is that they would climb into them, but they didn't chew them, they didn't drink the water. I don't know, she's got a problem. But we love her. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that. Let me bring that up so you can see. I love the texture of that so much. I'm gonna have to check if I've got any more of this map left. Isn't it interesting? It's vintage map, but I prefer the back of it because I like what's on the... Oh gosh, crafters, we are strange things. So we've got all that. I mean, look at it already. Isn't that fun? And then we've got this side as well. And there is a reason that I want it like that. Now, I was going to bring in some tea bag. And just layer that on top in places. I particularly want the bit in the middle that's all grungy. This is obviously one of the tea bags I just left to dry that isn't, what's the word? That isn't being put in the oven, because again, if you're new here, with tea bags I tend to put them in, I tend to dry them partially under a grill or in the oven, and it gives them a much darker colouring. And the reason for that is that I don't drink coffee and I don't drink any caffeinated tea, so I only drink herbal teas and mint teas. So this is still what my tea bag looks like, even though I didn't put it in the oven. But if I partially dry them and then put them under a grill and in the oven, they get so dark and grungy and beautiful. And yeah, but this is obviously one that I've just let dry naturally, and that's fine too because it still looks yummy. I just love adding a little bit of grunge with the tea bag, and I don't want them completely flat either. And yes, I'm still going to sew this, and I've still got some fabric, only little scraps of fabric. I don't think I want to add too much fabric to it because I have an idea of how I want to use this in my project, which is good, I suppose, because, you know, that's what we're here to do something for December. Oh, I just like, look at the extra grunge that adds. Yummy. So yes, all recommendations as long as they're positive ones. Did you have a cat that did this? I was even thinking about trying to get a cover for the whole tree so that when we are not in the room, because unfortunately the room that it's in does not have a door, like it's open, so I can't move it anywhere. It is just in that room. If it had a door, I would basically just shut her out of the room when we were out or at night, because obviously whilst I'm in the room, I can keep an eye on her and move her if I need to. But if I'm out, you know, she's probably under there having a good old snack. So, so we don't have the door. And so I was thinking about making a cover or something like that so that I could, it's ridiculous, so that I could cover my Christmas tree when we're not there. Because yes, that is the normal thing people are doing at Christmas time. But you know, we love our cats and we don't want them hurting themselves. So needs must. And I know some of you out there might just say, well, Belle, maybe you can't have a tree. But you know how sad that would make me, honestly. But I don't know. I just don't know this year. We shall see. Ugh, I love that. I love that. I also had this. It's been sprayed. It's got a little bit of gold. I was gifted this years ago by a dear friend who sadly is no longer with us. So I have kept every single scrap of anything like that she sent me. And I thought it might be quite nice to put this on here too. It's just got a little shimmer of gold on there. And I am actually going to use my Mod Podge for this because I've already got it out. So why not? Yeah, I just want to keep every scrap of this. Memories and all that. So, yeah. Any help appreciated as long as it's got nothing to do with spray bottles shouting or those little things that puff air at them or anything like that. I mean, I'm not judging anyone who wants to use that. I just know that it's not the best thing. And especially for cats that are rescue cats that you just don't know what they've been through, what they've experienced, and you don't want to cause them any more trauma because, you know, they can carry that trauma for ages. We got our girls when they were about 8 or 9 weeks old after they'd been abandoned and rescued, and they still have certain things that really trigger them. And the same with another rescue cat we had actually, that we rescued when he was a kitten, and he lived till he was like 13, 14, and still things like men with shoes or strangers in the house. And that was after being in a loving house for years. So I just love how this looks. I really do. And I have some little fabric scraps. Like I have this little bit of burlap, and I just think that'll add. I've got a little bit of sari silk, which again is a thing I love to use. And I'm thinking of adding I want flatter bits of fabric because of how I want to use this. but I do just want to bring a little bit of fabric in because it wouldn't feel like something of mine if I don't have fabric on it somewhere. I have this interesting lace that's this interesting colour, and I think that'll work really well, and it's nice and flat too. And again, I'm just literally putting these, I've got a tiny piece of this, I don't even know what this is, but it will work really well on here. And I could glue these down and just have them glued in place. I'm really not adding a lot of fabric at all. So I'm so inspired this year by the Defend prompts. Sometimes I enjoy them, but some of the prompts I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not quite sure what to do with that. But this year so far, every prompt I've just gone, oh my gosh, yes, I've got an idea for that. And it may not be the most exciting or something like that, but it's an idea that's popped into my head and I've gone, yes, I can work with that. I've also got some of this. It's some rust dyed fabric scrap left over. This bit's got no rust on it at all. So we got that as well. Oh, it's starting to get dark in here. I'm going to have to put the lights on in a minute. But I just want to add, as you can see, a few little scraps of fabric because I like fabric. And then I'm going to go stitch around this. I don't even think we need any more than that. I wanted to add a bit more of that, but maybe not. Don't think we need any more than that. So I'm going to stitch around this. It's almost completely dry, which is good. And once I've stitched around it, I will come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, so I have stitched through that. I've used this really pale brown thread. You can see I've done it 3 times and I've zigzagged it and I've done it across like that. I've tried to make sure that every bit of fabric has been caught. Now the glue I used on my sari silk has left like this mark, but I actually don't mind that. I think that adds to the grunge. And this feels really solid, guys, considering it's sewing pattern paper. I think this might be one of my new favourite things to do. But we've just got so much interest and detail. We've used scraps. We've got some grunge. I can add a lot more grunge if I want to. But we are leaving it at that for the moment. That's not supposed to be in there. Neither are these. So we have our little scraps and we are working on. So we've made our snippet roll. And now I want to work on. It still makes me smile every single time. I think I'm going to work on this page here. So we have our woven flowers and our scraps. So I was looking in my stash and I have this little box. Let me show you. And it's this random little box that's just full of either bits that I've done myself or dies, like things from Junk Journal January, like the free die cut sheets that I don't use, or bits from digital kits. It's just full of really random. Look, there's some packaging, some from some vintage bias binding. It's just full of random stamped images, things in there. And I keep a lot of die cut things from digitals, and this is one of them. I think it is either a Louisa Heinzel or a Barbara. I don't know. It was one of their free sheets for one of the challenges. And I thought, let's cut it up and put it in that box, because when I want to use things, same with the number, that was in that box too. When I just want something quick for a collage piece, I like pulling things out. Hold on. So yeah, so I like to have these little bits. When I'm doing something quick, I just want to pull these out and use them up because I've printed them out and, you know, might as well. And this is quite a scrungy kind of journal. So I also pulled out this Tim Holtz fella me doody. Now, I don't usually work with gentlemen. I I don't know. So I thought, why not? I normally work with children, or the dolls, I mean, or the ladies. I might sometimes pick out a gent if I'm doing something really Victorian and Gothic, but not usually. So, oh gosh, I'm trying to find. I can't find my. Sorry, I am here, guys. I'm trying to find my. We're going to use this one. Gold. Don't know where my gold has gone. Ah, found it. Sorry. Where'd my gold wax? So we're going to use this gentleman, me dude, who looks very dapper. I want to put a bit of gold on this. This is my Art Alchemy vintage gold wax. It's my favourite wax. I use this all the time. Oh, look at that. It almost matches my nails. Coordination. Gotta love it. I just want to add a little bit on here. It's not going to stand out too much, but it's just going to give that, I'm trying to get it so you can see, just gives that shimmer. So I'm going to actually put it on here because it doesn't matter. So just a little bit. So we're going to work with this dude, this fellow me dude, this gentleman, this dapper guy. I am going to bring this in actually. And I'm thinking I might want this on here. It's all over my finger now. That's why it's best to wear gloves when you're working with wax. Though, like I said, it matches my nails, so there we go. I think we might want him on here. Maybe more over this way. Me dapper gent. The number 8. Don't know why. Just have it in the box. Saw it. Thought, let's use that. I want to bring in, this is where I want to bring in some of my woven flowers. So I'm thinking I might want to ink the edge of these too. I'm using some walnut stain. And I'm thinking one of the flowers behind him. Because I like the idea of the flowers with the very mechanical kind of cogs and rulers and the dapper gentleman. Oh, I have this one with a little wooden, I'm going to take that bit off. It's got a little wooden middle. We're going to have to clean my hands after this. How many of us go out and we go shopping or something and we're just covered in inks? Oh, and I cut out some cogs. I wanted more cogs. These are cut out of some of my fake faux, I've got a piece here, faux leather paper. So I cut out some of that. Oh yes, we need another cog. For the dapper gentleman. What-o? Just going out for a little bit of a wander. Saw some flowers. Thought, oh, pick those up. Look rather lovely. So, again, if you're new here, you'll get used to my randomness. Hopefully. To bring in some of those numbers. We can't really see a lot of the thing behind, but that's okay. I also have this cog, and this has little love hearts on it, and there is a reason that I want to bring in some of the love hearts. I've got some of this red. It's metallic gilding. What is it? Rich red gilding. Does it have a name, this one, or is it just rich red gilding? Who's it by? Oh, it's Cosmic Shimmer. Let's try a little bit of this, because I don't usually use, oh my gosh, the lid's come out and it is sticking. The glue is sticking all to me, even if it's not sticking to the actual thing. Right, this is meant to have a little thing that comes out. Okay, I'm just going to pick it up with my finger then. Just a smidge, just a smidge. Just to pick up some red. Maybe we bring in some red on here too. Got the gold and the red. I don't know. We've done it now. To be honest, I can always turn it over if I don't like it. So it's not a big problem. I need to see if I do like it or not. But we've got it here. And I do seem to be using red quite a bit in this one. This has got a little heart on it. And I want the little heart on it. And we've got another big flower. Let's ink this up. Like so. Me dappy tappy. Watto, watto. The dapper Victorian gentleman. What? Yes. Just wandering around having a shop. Then we're going to bring in, I think another cog actually made from my leather papers. Actually, I don't know if these are the leather papers. Do you know what they might be from? They might be from something I made in Oddtober, because they look like they might actually be the Tim Holtz grit paste. So it could be that. Do you know what? I think I want it underneath. Dapper chapper. Ooh, I'm liking all that so far, and I think that might be about it. Move that up. I've got a darker one. No, I don't want the darker one. I like the lighter one. Okay, so now comes the bit where I need to start gluing things down. Now, I'm not gluing him to the page, and you'll find out why in a minute. So what I need to do, I've done all this, and now I've got to move it all. But first things first, let's glue this. Yeah, I'm not gluing him to the page. Is my glue going to play me up now? Come on. You know you want to. There's barely any left. That's why it's playing me up. But it is still there. Right, we're going to stick that, but I don't want that on the page. Not on the page, just on here. So yeah, I'm really enjoying these prompts. And I really just like the fact that out of nowhere I thought, you know what? I'm going to make a journal. I don't normally, so let's just do that. Let's just make ourselves a journal to work in. Put that down a little bit. Need to make sure it does stick on the page. I don't actually mind this cog coming off the edge a little bit. That's quite good. And my idea for this was, he's a dapper chappy who has gone out, he's fallen in love, and he's buying some flowers for his sweetheart. That was my thoughts on the matter, hence the woven flowers. So I'll do this, and yes, I know we're covering up a lot of that digital of the ruler in the background, but again, I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna glue him on this side because I don't think I'm sticking anything else down here. But I don't want his legs actually, just his body for the moment. I'm going to glue this half of him because I then want to make sure I've got enough space to glue anything else I need to be glued behind him, like this flower. Needs to be glued down like so. Yeah, so he's picking up flowers to take home, maybe to his wife, or maybe he's going a-courting. I love that term. My granddad used to always say that. Are you going courting? Because he was of that era. I like this kind of on top of him. So what I think is now I'm going to glue him down because I think I've put everything I need to underneath him. Going a-courting. It's going to take a while to stick to those burlap woven flowers. Right, no more music because that's actually a song. Don't want copyright. As you do. Come on. No, not on him. Behave yourself, flower. Behave. I should pull out my fabric glue really, but I just bought a brand new one and I haven't opened it all up yet. So we'll see how this goes and whether or not I need to then pull out my new fabric glue. Do, 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 do. I feel like this actually needs to be underneath. That's okay. Oh my gosh, all I've got that in that is that song in my head. Getting to know you. Getting to know you. Right. Oh, he's so dapper. And then I've got this little word that says in my heart. It's one of the Tim Holtz ones. And I thought, that's perfect because he's just like, you're always in my heart. I'm always out thinking of you. I'm going to put like that. But again, I don't want it stuck down just yet. So what I might do now is I might stick this down. But I feel like I might want... Do you know what? I don't know if I do want anything in the background. I love the grunginess of the paper. Maybe we could bring in some writing or something in it. So let me just grab my Tim Holtz stamp. And I'm going to actually do it, not in black, but where is it? My VersaFine Vintage Sepia, because I really don't want it to distract the background from my dapper chap too much. Let's just layer it up differently. You can see I've really thought about where I was placing things. Okay, that's okay. Again, I don't want too much. I might bring in some numbers actually. Now I'm looking at them. I don't want too much. Let me now just bring in this and now bring in this and then bring in this. And again, I'm going to do it in the VersaFine. I'm not going to do it in my Stays on Black. I don't want too much anywhere. I'm going to come off the edge there with that too. Let's bring in a slightly different number. Do, 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 do. And we are going to make this chappy a pocket. And you may be thinking, hold up, Belle, but where's the snippet roll come into all this? Well, that is what you are going to see in a minute. Okay, I think we're going to leave it like this. And we are going to make him into a pocket. Now, I may actually need to use double-sided sticky tape for this. But we're going to see. Or rather, not a pocket, a tuck spot. So I really need good glue all the way. We'll glue his feet as well. And this. Glue all this. Like so. Really gluing that. We are going to make him into a little tuck spot. Ugh. Isn't he cute? And yeah, if we flip the page over, you'll see, we can see part of that cog on the other side, which I like. Isn't he adorable? And I actually have, oh no, where is it? I had a little red heart that I wanted to put on his heart. Okay, I found one. Wasn't the one I had. I don't know where that's gone to. It was literally in with all these things. But I want him to have a little red heart on his chest because, you know, he's so full of love and he's thinking about his lovely lady who he's gone buying flowers for before they go out a courting. Maybe they're going for a promenade in St James's Park. Like so. Ugh, thankfully that dries clear, but it's also super annoying. So let me just bring that up so you can see his little red heart. I think the light needs to be a bit better. Let me just move it slightly so that you can see a bit better maybe. I don't know if that even helps. Okay, right, well, it is what it is. So Again, you may be thinking, hold up, Belle. So we've made a snippet roll. And I had this little one that, again, was something that was in my stash. And it said, yes, my darling, in my heart. Or fell in love with her at once. Again, I had this in that little box that you saw. I think I used these for something else. Or I was hoping to use them for something else. But never actually got round to using them. In my heart. Fell in love with her at once, but I might put that actually. So this is how we're going to use our snippet roll. We've got this. We've made our fun snippet roll, but I'm going to turn this into a tag. That is what we are going to do. Now this will be interesting because I've stitched through it, but sometimes you can cut through stitching. So, you know, you just have to kind of think where you're going to place it. See, that went through wonderfully. I don't even need it to be straight. That even then cut through that bit of fabric down there. I think just the one tag will do, you know. Let's grab this. And this is where we can put fell in love with her at once on here. I do have another flower, so I could bring in, let's have a look, shall we? I could bring in another cog to tie in with the cogs on the actual piece itself. So we could do that like so. Let's cut it into a tag shape first. So we're going to make this into a tag. So I'm just going to chop off the ends of it. And then the great thing about having the sewing pattern paper on both sides is that this is writable. Now I know it's got stitching on there, but you can write on the back of this, so I think that's quite cute. I was thinking of putting the cog, but you know what, I don't know if I want the cog. I might do, we'll see, because it just kind of ties it all in really with the cog on there. Should we add the cog? Should we just do that? Okay, let's do it. I wasn't going to, now I am. And yes, so our snippet roll is going to become our tag for our tuck spot, which I think works really, really well because of the way. Now, normally with fabric, you can't do this. You can't, with a fabric snippet, you can't really make it into a tag. Although saying that, I have made patchwork tags before. But it's not as easy. But with something like a paper snippet, especially if you make sure nearly everything is flat, which I'm going to be honest, we all know is not easy for me. I like dimension and texture, but I've got all the texture with some nice flat lace and with the vellum and the different kind of textures on the papers. I have that beautiful texture on there. Whilst that's just drying, because I need to think about something else, I realised that I want to add a couple of brads. So I feel like this little one here is disappearing. Now, thankfully, the whole thing is not stuck down, so I can still poke a hole through this that then doesn't go in the page. So that's good. And I've got a little brad that I'm going to put in. Again, I like texture and dimension, which is why my journals always end up so chunky. This is really difficult to try and do this without putting my head straight into the camera. I'm getting this close to my eyeballs. But we've got that one there. And then obviously we need one here. And I pulled out from my brad pot this little star, this little bronze star, because I just thought that would work so well. It's a slightly different shape that we're bringing in. And I don't know, I just thought it would work well with the overall look of the page to bring this little star in. And you know, she's the star of his heart. I don't know why I'm going all romantic with this one, because I am not a romantic person. It's not my thing. So now what I was looking at is I've got some lace that I could put on top of here. Let's see how that would look. That would look quite cute. But I also do have some burlap, which I think will bring in like the flowers, because the flowers are also this kind of fabric. Let's see what that would look like. I do think I prefer that, but then I also pulled some of the burlap apart, you know, when you're fraying it, and I was wondering what that would look like, because weaving and then doing this, do you know what, guys, I kind of love that. Now I'm not going to put a brad, because I could actually put a brad through here and have these really loose. It'd be a nightmare putting them through the brad, but actually I wasn't going to, and now I think I am. Don't you just love it when you're crafting and you think, oh, I'm going in this direction, and suddenly you go, oh no, I'm not, I'm going this way. So let's get my crocodile, and then we need to pick an eyelet that's going to work well with the rest of this. I almost want to bring in a red one again, because it just picks up lots of red in the rest of it. But I don't know. Hold on, because, I mean, we won't see much of the eyelet. I don't want to really take away from his heart. Yeah, I like the red. I was going, I don't really want to take away from the little red heart that he has. And then I'm like, no, I like the red. That's cool. Let's do the red. And let's put these. So, yeah, this is from just fraying the burlap like that. And then, yes, me being me, I keep those. Funny enough, I like to add them behind ephemera or add them onto fabric snippet rolls. This is going to be interesting, trying to get all this through here. It's doable though, so, you know, that's good. Oh, yes, I kind of love it. Now, we don't want it this long, but I also don't want it all in the same. I liked the fact that a lot of these strands were at different lengths, so I'm trying to do that. It reminds me of cutting hair. You know, when you're trying to do that. Oh, do you know what, guys, I really do like it. Oh, it's so cute. I hope you think so. I think it's cute. So yeah, let's move everything now and have a look at what we've got. So again, today's prompts were snippet roll and woven flowers, and I decided to make the snippet roll out of vintage sewing pattern paper and just cover it with lots of paper scraps, some vintage, some textured, some fabric, even some corrugated card on there, and some tea bag. And then we've made that into our tag for our page, which I think is so cute. And then the woven flowers, I've just pulled some burlap ones out of my stash, and we have this adorable page of this chappy dude who is a Victorian gentleman who's in the process of courting his lady, has gone out to buy her some flowers, and it says, in my heart, in his little red beating heart, fell in love with her at once. And I just think that is really cute. I am so happy with how that turned out, actually, guys. We got there in the end. I still feel like I need to probably glue this down. We've got some cogs. We used some scraps. We used some scrap digitals. We used scrap paper. So, yes, that is my day 4 for the 5th of December. So, yes, let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you've ever made snippet rolls with vintage sewing pattern paper before. If you haven't, I really recommend it. You could see it was really easy to do, and it was a lot of fun, and we any project that uses up some scraps. And yes, if you've got a little fur baby kitty who is sometimes doing things that's not very good for them, please leave me some possible ways of helping with that problem down below that only include positive reinforcement. So that's it for now. I can't wait for next week. We've got 3 days off and I'm already thinking about what I want to do for these two. So that's it for now. Loving how this little journal's coming together. And thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already, and leave comments down below. I really, really appreciate it. And it really does help build my small channel. And yes, I'll be back again soon. But until then, wherever you are in the world, don't forget to either buy someone or yourself flowers. They don't have to be real ones. Lots of people have hay fever. And I hope you're having lots and lots of crafty fun. Bye for now.